Hi everyone, I have got a triple whammy review for you today. These are all books by Karolina Kubikowska, hopefully I'm saying that right, and they're absolutely incredible. Now, I just did a review of the Spiral of Life colouring book, and these are all produced by that same publisher, Deco Made in Poland, and the quality of products from Deco Made is just unmatched. It's stunning. So I just want to point that out, that if anything that you get from there, it just seems like they've put so much thought into the production quality of their work. It's incredible. So anyway, let's start off with the postcards. Okay, so this is a Memories Postcards colouring book. So it comes in a slipcover. This is what it looks like. These are the previous postcard boxes, and so all of these postcards that were in these previous 5 are now collected here. So it says a series of colouring postcards published from 2019 to 20, now available in a new version, all 90 graphics in a bigger format and as a colouring book. So let's have a look. So this is the book. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same as the cover. We open it up and it is a lay flat binding. Brilliant. You can't get better than a lay flat binding. As you can see, all of the pages are glued on this side, but they're not stuck to the cover, so you're not going to have to be struggling with a spine. It's all ready to be removed, ready to be coloured and left in the book if you wish, but it's all lay flat, so it's absolutely perfect. So we've got, it's hard to believe that it's been 4 years since I published the first set of postcards, Spirits of Easter. I remember how much joy preparing those small pictures gave me. Today, I'm even happier to see all the colourful interpretations. For economic reasons, it's not possible for me to release further postcard sets in the same format as before in a case with extra accessories. Instead, I can offer the complete collection in a new edition, all 90 graphics in a bigger format as a colouring book. So even though this is classed as a colouring book, it's actually a collection of postcards that you can very easily remove, colour, send, do whatever you wish. So it's absolutely fantastic. And if you're wanting to get some of these previous postcard books but haven't got round to it yet or don't know which one to choose, you've got them all here. So let's have a look then. This is from Spirits of Easter, and it's all talking about the Easter holidays, how cheerful it is, and it's telling you some copyright information on the bottom as well. I'm going to go quite quickly because there is a lot of illustrations in this. But these are all from Spirit of Easter, so you know where they are. If you did want to buy the individual books, the postcard sets, you could do that. So feel free to slow this down. There's just a lot to get through. But Karolina's work is stunning. It's got this it's got a very raw feeling to it, Karolina's work. And I know she puts a lot of her emotion and the things that she's been through, she puts them into her line work, and you can feel that. I don't know what it is, it's a feeling more than something that I can explain, but Karolina's work is very special, very natural, and very, very unique. Karolina has been producing illustrations for years upon years. I can remember, gosh, I think it was 2 houses ago that I first saw Karolina's work. I'm just trying to think, but I know it's been a long time that she's been producing illustrations for colouring. Here we start with Spring Memories. And I know a lot of people love this line art, the way that Karolina has got such an imagination. I mean, look at this. Spring is obviously all about birth, rebirth of flowers after winter. And look, we've got this pregnant lady. She's curled up, got a little curled up bunny rabbit here. Gorgeous. I'd love to know if any of you are Karolina fans. I'm sure that you are. What your favourite things are about Karolina's work and why you like it. Because it is so different to a lot of colouring book illustrations that you see. There's obviously a lot of heavy ink work. It's very natural, very hand-drawn. There's no perfection of the lines, there's no digital touching up of anything. It's just Very, very natural. It almost feels like it would have flown. It would have felt very flowing as she was doing it, you know, from the pen. It doesn't feel like she stopped for breath when she's doing these. Do you know what I mean? It just feels like it would just flow out of her. But I do want to show you every single postcard because I always show you every single page when I'm doing a colouring book review. And I should tell you the size of these as well, shouldn't I, in case you wanted to know that. Don't know where I've put my, oh, here it is. Okay, so length is 21 centimetres or 8 1/4 inches. And then the width is 5 3/4 inch or 14.5 centimetres. So just in case you wanted to know how big these are, you can see my hand on them. They are quite large. They are larger than postcard size, but that's because this is classed as a colouring book. You could write a sentiment in there. It almost feels like a different world, you know, when you're looking through Karolina's books. It feels like you're kind of spying on a world that you kind of shouldn't be there, you know, it's untouched by humans. From Summer Memories, this one is starting off. Yes, it's gorgeous. I can see why some people might not like to colour it because of the heavy line work and things. But I don't know, there's something so unique about it, so different to all the usual colouring books we see and the kind of artwork we're used to. It just feels special. Look at this. She's got palm trees growing out of her head and waves making up her hair. A jellyfish. Lovely mermaid. These flowers have eyes. Creepy. There is a kind of creepiness about Karolina's work as well. As I say, it's very difficult to describe. It just has an aura about it. Look at this beautiful wolf. This kind of reminds me of someone just thinking about their dream little cottage in the woods. A lovely ice cream for summer. This is very modern kind of, it seems a little bit jarring in a Karolina book to have just something as basic as and human as an ice cream. You know, it's a human thing, isn't it, to go and get an ice cream at summer. Whereas Karolina's work, it almost seems otherworldly a lot of the time. Just these little snapshots as well, you know, where it's not the perfect composition of a window in the centre frame. It's almost like just taking little snapshots of tiny areas where something takes your eye, like this little cluster of flowers. Now we're starting with Autumn Memories. We've got a fox and an owl. And this is almost like a cape made of, looks a bit like a moth wings. We've got a cute little hedgehog, I believe, in a little tent. Fairy, and a fox with wings as well. Look at this cute hedgehog in his little hole. It's so sweet. He's even got a picture of his little hedgehog friend on the wall. And look, we've got a skull under here, like a fossil of an animal. It says Wilson on it. I wonder what, I'd love to know the stories behind all of this. This is like a witch with a raccoon on her pumpkins. Nighttime scene. Squirrel collecting his acorns. Gorgeous bear. I love this. Can you imagine this as a tattoo? This would be a great tattoo. I think that's another thing. I think Karolina herself even has got tattoos of her work, if I remember rightly. And I know a few people have had her work tattooed as well. They make beautiful tattoos. Oh, this one's got writing. Hope is a thing with feathers that perches in the soul. That's an Emily Dickinson quote. How lovely. Look at this little mouse peeking out. This lady's got antlers and mushrooms growing out of her head. This is like a creepy haunted house. We've got the silhouette in the window and the snake around it as well. There's so many things that you don't see on first glance with Karolina's work. She hides a lot of things in her work. This is almost like a Dia de los Muertos, Day of the Dead, sugar skull type thing. Oh, how cool. We've got a big jack-o'-lantern with a house on top. You know how I love Halloween. This one's this way around. It's a little cat sleeping on a branch. And then we're on to the last one, which is Winter Memories. I think that's the last one. Let me check. Yes, Winter Memories. Gorgeous landscape. This is kind of further out from what we would usually see. We're always very into the scene and into the subject with Karolina's work, but this one we've kind of zoomed out a bit and we've got a whole landscape going on. Got a little bit from Karolina as well about it. I'm not going to read them all out. I'll give you something to read when you get your copies if it's something you want to get. Look at this little girl with all her teddies. I'm not sure what these figures are. It almost feels like they're going to be demons or ghosts. You know, if we're talking about depression and things and we're getting into that, which is, I often feel that in Karolina's work, that there's, some of these illustrations have been born out of a hard place. I don't know why I get that feeling, but I feel like these could be kind of like the black dog on your shoulders type thing, and you're trying to look forward, but you're kind of held back. I could be completely wrong. It's just what I feel when I look at it. So we've got a stag or a deer here. This is like a Christmas wreath. Lots of holly, ivy. Well, it's holly, isn't it? This is almost like the inside of a snow globe. Christmas morning, got your cup of tea, present to open, your Christmas tree in the background. Have an owl surrounded by little mice. Lots of warm winter clothes here, hats and scarves. Curled up fox. I've got the castle in a teacup. I love the bears. I love Karolina's bears. They're always so jolly looking. It's almost like he's the bear equivalent of Santa, delivering all of these presents. This fox has got wings again. I'm sure we saw them earlier. We have a cute little squirrel. A snowman. This would be a nice Christmas postcard. You could write Happy Christmas in here. Gingerbread, candy canes and cake. Yum, yum, yum. Christmas tree. Little Christmas village, sort of tied together by these pine cones. Oh, this one's another one. Another landscape one. So this little, what is it? It's a rabbit with antlers. And it's dragging some Christmas presents, but look, all the presents have fallen out and the little mice are coming to see what they can get. And there's also a creepy creature watching from the tree trunk. Okay, so we have test your media pages in the back so that you can give whatever it is you want a go on there first before you add it to your postcard. And that's it. So that's the first of Karolina's books that we're going to be looking at today. It's all postcards that can be very, very easily removed, and it's gorgeous. What else can you say? Just look at this production quality. It comes in its own sleeve. Let's pop it back. I'm never any good at popping things back. especially when I know I've got to do it quickly and move on to something else. So I tell you what, I'll do that afterwards. Right, next you've got Rising. This is a gorgeous hardback book from Karolina, and again it's produced by Deco Made in Poland. Just incredible quality. So Karolina says this book is one that has probably been the most difficult and one that has been the most necessary for me to make. It has been coming to life during the past 3 years when my life has been changing completely. Through all the hectic circumstances of the world, through personal life drama that's turned out to be the biggest blessing that's ever happened to me, I kept drawing these pages. I hope you'll like it. So this is really, as I was saying earlier, I feel like there's an emotional connection with these pages, and Karolina's just confirmed it there. So again, this is pretty much the same as what she just said, that she's ready to share them now, their energy, their power, and she can only hope they can be a guide, an emotional window for all that you're going through and working through right now. The main message being that whenever you feel like the world is ending, actually there are a lot more beginnings happening for you than you can dare to realise. I wish I could hold you through times of difficulty into the light of better and calmer days. From me to you, rising has begun. Let it take place in your heart and put spark in your eyes. Gorgeous. So this, as I said, is a hardback book. It's got a gorgeous textured feel to the front. I don't know if you can see when I show it in the light. It has an almost linen texture, and it's also got the gold foiling on the title as well. So let's have a look at the pages. So this obviously is a larger format book than the one previous. Let's give it a quick measure. Okay, so we're looking at 29.5 centimetres, or just over 11.5 inches, and then width-wise it is 8.5 inches or 21.5 centimetres. So we'll go through the illustrations. Now you may prefer this than the postcard book, with it being on a larger size. These would be fantastic as prints on the wall. So when you've done colouring them, I can imagine, even uncoloured, they're just gorgeous artwork. Now we've got a few little bits of text throughout this book, and there's a lot of different themes, but it's talking about the path being clear, and sometimes it's not, you know, you don't really know which way to turn, but you walk on with uncertainty and fear, as Karolina has said here. And there's a lot of strange imagery in Karolina's books, and it really gets you thinking more than any other colouring book I can think of, because you just wonder what was behind all of these concepts. And sometimes you feel like there's just too many thoughts in your head at one time and they're bursting free. I get a lot of that impression from these illustrations as well. Sometimes you feel like you've got another person inside that's working against you, and you're constantly battling that demon. That's what I'm getting. I'm getting a lot of different feelings from these illustrations. And like I said, even without colouring them, I just love them as pieces of artwork. I'm quite a spiritual person, and a lot of this is spiritual imagery, the third eye, you know, it just appeals to me. I almost don't want to colour it because I love the way it looks in black and white and what it evokes. There's lots of wolves, cats, small domestic animals as well. So we've got some lucky clovers. Mind you, they've only got 3 leaves, so I guess they're more like shamrocks. Beautiful. Again, another bear. It feels very celestial. Take a breath, you're in control, you can do anything. Everything is in your power, dear witch. Look at these birds. They do not hurt prey, they watch over you. I'm reading this wrong. Look, these birds do not hunt prey, they watch over you. The flowers are not a poisonous plant, they grow to give colour. Close your eyes and remember what the world truly is, a magnificent, vibrant place full of magic, and take another breath. Love this one. Looks very tribal, doesn't it? Now, I've started colouring this one. As you can see, I've not finished it yet. Just haven't had time. But this really appealed to me for some reason. It's almost like she's floating, she's dancing, she's so blissed out. And it's got all the nature around it as well. It really appealed to me at the time. I love the darker ones as well. More of the black ink. And again, any one of these could be a perfect tattoo. I might have to get a Karolina tattoo one day. I wouldn't know which one to choose, but they're all beautiful. See, this is almost like she's in a meditative state. Her eyes are closed, but her third eye is open. This is cute. It's almost like a little Victorian, you know, those little brooches and little paintings that you could get. And the wolf headdress. And we have 3 here. 3 faces in one. It is very witchy. She used that word. It does feel like that. This is almost casting a spell, isn't it? With the wand and the little book. The 4-leaf clovers now. So we do have that look coming in. The golden glow shines onto the clearing you have reached, as if a symbol of how you can spin the life that you want into reality. Just like that, see as much magic as you wish. Be the one to bring it into the world. Beautiful. It feels like a journey, this book. Like the way that she's adding in little text here and there. And life is a journey, isn't it? It's got its ups and downs, its trials and tribulations, its scary bits and its ecstatic bits. But you do get the sense of just being at one with nature with this book. It's underwater, I think. I've got some jellyfish. I wonder if Karolina uses an ink pen and black ink for the darker bits. I'll have to try and find out what she prefers. It looks like a very fine ink pen. And here's all of her links if you want to go and see her Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can buy off Etsy, Patreon. If you sign up to the Patreon, you're supporting her actively every month. But this particular book I got from Deco Made in Poland. And again, as with the others, you can see the quality is spot on. So I'll leave the link for that one in the description as well. So whichever you think has called to you most, indeed if any of them have, you can always go on those links, have a click around, see what you think. Finally, we have Circle of Nature, which I think is her latest book, I think. And again, it's from Deco Made. It says there's 35 images to colour inscribed in a circle with plant, human and animal themes. The characteristic style and thin, delicate lines will take you on a journey into the world of nature, of which we are an inseparable part. In this book, for the first time, the author has added 4 coloured versions of her works, which you can use as inspiration. And I did, so I'll show you. Now, before I do, let's just have a look at this cover. So it looks pretty basic, but you know what? It's got a gorgeous pearlescent shine on here. I don't know whether it's going to show up, but it looks like pearl. You know, it's got that pearlescent, what's the word that I'm looking for? It's got a real shimmer, and that's on front and back as well. Again, it's a hardback book. I'll give it the knock. And we'll start so you can see what's inside. Circle of Nature colouring book. And you've got your book belongs to page here as well. It says, nature is something that soothes my soul, fills me with inspiration and keeps my mind clear. I'm one to believe that we are not simply in nature, we are nature, but we became very disconnected from ourselves because of the constant everyday rush of a modern world. How true is that? I think that to heal ourselves and our planet, which is in such a crisis right now, we must get back in touch with our mother, our source, which is Earth. That's why I started to draw these little circles representing how I feel when I'm grounded, when I'm open and still, listening to the rustle of leaves and the singing of birds above my head. Those are the times that I'm happiest. Whether I'm looking at water or submerged in the deep greenery of the woods, I feel the most at home. These illustrations are meant for you to open and contemplate when you have a moment for yourself, to interpret with colours that speak to you best and make them your own. They are my little insights into the soul while strolling on an unknown dirt path, smelling herbs and wildflowers. Come into that world and reconnect with the magnificent nature we are part of. Love this, absolutely love it. And so we've also got a little forward from the publisher Decomade as well, the lovely Anya who runs Decomade. And she's talking about, well, I'll just read it because it is really interesting. There are numerous colouring books in the world. In the last 2 years especially, their number has risen significantly, not thanks to the increased activity of the artists, but due to software supported by artificial intelligence. The themes that you can find in AI colouring books are not a product of human imagination, but they make the most of it without the real author's consent. They are not hand-drawn, but rather generated by a software that has found suitable photos of real artists' work online, then adjusted them so that they're attractive. Often they are really beautiful pictures showing fantasy figures, animals, and places so lifelike as if they were real. Their creation, no, that's not the right word, their generation, does not require the talent for drawing, and it does not take a lot of time. These colouring books are often available as PDF only or published on copy paper as a newspaper magazine. This makes them cheap, but let us be frank, they all start to look alike and we get bored with them. This book that you're holding in your hands is different. It's special because it's been hand-drawn by a talented person. The animals and plants that you know may not look lifelike here, but this is what makes them unique. Line by line, dot by dot, Karolina creates a fairy tale world full of magic, delicate and fleeting. These qualities cannot be generated. In this colouring book for the first time, you will also find 4 full colour works, originally painted in watercolours, with their counterparts to be coloured on the following pages. I really wanted for all the images to have a watercolour pair, but as you know, colouring is time consuming and both me and Karolina were set on having this book published this autumn, maybe next time. So this is the Circle of Nature colouring book. Very, very important words there from Anya at Decomade. We all know the impact that AI has been having on our colouring world, our much loved artists, and I could go on about that, but I have already made my feelings clear on my Facebook group, and I'm sure that the majority of you feel the same. So let's just get into the book. So here is one of the original full coloured watercolour artworks. Beautiful. And then we have another 2 here. I would love to be able to watercolour. It's such a delicate medium, but it's very difficult to learn. And then here is the final watercolour image. And this one was blank and I've coloured it. So I wanted to try and emulate the colours as best as possible. Now, watercolours are obviously very washy. You use a lot of water with them, and the colour pigment, the vibrancy can be watered down, so it doesn't look as in your face with the colour. And I tried to achieve that with pencil, but it was really quite difficult because I'm not getting that delicate wash that you would get with watercolours. But I tried my absolute best to make it look as similar as I could, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So I spent a really long time actually on this one because I wanted to make every little portion of it as similar as I very could. But yeah, it's all right. It's not bad at all. And I had fun doing it, which is the main thing. So there we go. Let's get on to all of the different circles now. These are all one-sided as well. So you can use any media that you like whatsoever. The paper has a really nice tooth. I can feel it. It's grippy. You're going to have lots of room to put layers of coloured pencil on, or whatever medium it is you want to use. You could use acrylic paint, you could use watercolour, you could use alcohol markers, Water-based pens, I mean anything, because it's all one-sided. It's nice and thick paper, and like I say, it's got that tooth to pick up pigment from pencils or Neocolor crayons. In fact, Neocolors would be a really good media to use in Karolina's work. I think that they would match up really well, because it's quite freeing as well, just to add a bit of crayon here and there, and it's not as precise as colouring pencils, but you would also, when adding water, get that watercolour wash look as well. I might try that. I might try the Neocolors. I feel like they'd be a good pairing for Karolina's work. But I better do a quick measure, since I've done it on every other book. So this one, let's start from the start. Okay, this one is 23 centimetres by 23 centimetres. So it's a square book, and that in inches for our US friends is just over 9 inches square. There you go. This is a really nice one. All enclosed in circles, as I've said, but you've got almost like a little snow globe of the castle and the little mice looking at it. I really like the containment of these. You know, that's what I like the best in my colouring illustrations that I like to do, is when they're contained. It feels like a full finished piece when they're contained. Look at this. How stunning is that? So I hope that you've enjoyed looking at all these books from Karolina, and they're all available now. Even if, you know, they came out a couple of years ago, they're all available right now. So if there's anything that you see, you should be able to get it. Because I know that Karolina had some books a number of years ago that people were struggling to find, and they're quite upset about that, but you can get these. As of now, you can get them. Look at this. It's mind-blowing, really. I love this one. Look at this little house on a tree stump with a ladder into the water, little boat, all inside a teacup. So I just want to thank you as well for sticking with me through this long video. I did want to do all of the books in one because I didn't want to separate them. I felt like they should all be looked at together, you know, all being the one artist. I would have found it quite difficult to split them up and then had to sort of repeat my thoughts on Karolina's work, because like I say, it's more thought-provoking art than anyone else, for me anyway. So yes, thank you for sticking with me through this, and I hope that I've imparted on you, through the power of YouTube, just how gorgeous quality these books are. Because I wish that, you know, there was a way that you could feel what I'm feeling here. The quality of paper, the binding, the hardback covers. Beautiful. And then we have a media tester page here. And we have got all of the copyright information. So yes, there's the 3 books. I'm going to put them all back on here to finish up. So I would love to know what you think of this in the comments. I do love to hear from you. It makes my day every time I get a comment, and I think they're beautiful. So if you want to have a look at them, have a closer look, have a look at any more of the information that you can find, I will leave all the links to these in the description below. So thank you very much for joining me, and I will see you soon on Colour with Claire.